You'd think no one in their right mind would choose to live in a place where summer temperatures regularly hit 110 degrees Fahrenheit, where the sun feels like it's attacking you the moment you step outside, where even touching your car door can feel like grabbing a hot iron. And yet, over 5 million people proudly call this place home. Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona, America's hottest large city, not just by temperature, but by population growth too. So here's the question: why doesn't this insane heat scare people away? How did a city in the middle of the desert become one of the fastest growing metro areas in the US? Because the truth is, Phoenix shouldn't exist at this scale. And yet it does, comfortably, with shopping malls, tech parks, golf courses, and endless suburbs. In this video, we'll uncover the ancient water engineering that made life here possible, the surprising reason people like this climate, and the one invention that made Phoenix's growth explode overnight. But stick around till the end, because we'll also look at the dark warning experts are giving about Phoenix's future, and it's not just about heat. To understand how Phoenix came to thrive in such an extreme environment, we have to go back. Way back to the original desert engineers, the Hohokam people. Over 1,000 years ago, long before modern Arizona was even imagined, the Hohokam lived in this harsh desert. But they didn't just survive, they thrived. How? By building one of the most sophisticated canal systems in ancient North America. Using nothing but hand tools, they carved out over 500 miles of canals, redirecting water from the Salt and Gila rivers to irrigate their crops. Corn, beans, squash, and entire agricultural communities bloomed right in the heart of the desert. This wasn't a small experiment. It was a full-scale civilization built on water engineering. When you walk through Phoenix today, you're walking above the buried blueprint of Hohokam ingenuity. Fast forward centuries later, and modern settlers would rediscover this same wisdom. In the early 20th century, as Phoenix began to grow, engineers expanded and modernized the ancient canal networks. They added dams, reservoirs, and pumping stations using concrete and steel to do what the Hohokam once did with stones and sticks. But Phoenix wasn't just relying on local rivers. It turned to one of the most powerful lifelines in the American West, the Colorado River. With the creation of the Central Arizona Project, a massive 336-mile canal system completed in the 1990s, water could now be transported hundreds of miles from the Colorado River straight into Central Arizona. It was a game changer. Suddenly, Phoenix had a stable water supply that allowed the city to grow beyond anything imaginable in earlier decades. And as the population exploded, groundwater was also pumped from underground aquifers to meet rising demand. Water in a desert is more valuable than gold, and thanks to centuries of engineering, both ancient and modern, Phoenix secured its most critical resource. This wasn't just smart planning, it was the foundation. Because without water, Phoenix wouldn't be a mega city. It would still be just another stretch of empty desert. Now let's talk about Phoenix's most famous trait, the blazing sun. Phoenix gets over 300 sunny days a year, making it one of the sunniest cities not just in America but in the entire world. And while that might sound unbearable to some, for many, it's actually a selling point. Retirees from across the US, especially from colder northern states, flock to Phoenix for this exact reason. They are trading snow shovels for sunshine. The dry, consistent heat is a relief for people with arthritis, asthma, and other respiratory issues. Unlike the sticky, suffocating humidity of places like Florida or the South, Phoenix offers a dry heat that feels cleaner and easier to manage, especially for older adults. But let's be honest, even dry heat becomes brutal when it's 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So how do people manage? The answer is simple but powerful: air conditioning. The rise of Phoenix as a major city is directly tied to the air conditioning revolution of the mid-20th century. Before AC, summers here were brutal. Residents often had to sleep outside, spray water on their sheets, or escape to higher elevations. But once affordable air conditioning hit the market in the 1950s and 60s, Phoenix transformed almost overnight. Homes, businesses, schools, and cars were suddenly climate-controlled oases in the middle of a scorching desert. This innovation didn't just make Phoenix livable, it made it desirable. Suddenly, you could enjoy the sunny winters and just stay indoors during the extreme summers. It's the same logic people use in cold cities. If you can survive 6 months of freezing snow in Chicago by staying inside and bundling up, you can survive 6 months of heat in Phoenix with AC and some shade. And so, the culture adapted. Workdays start earlier, outdoor activities happen at night, and malls, theaters, and restaurants stay packed in the heat of summer. This was a city that refused to let the weather win. Instead, Phoenix embraced the sun, adapted to the heat, and used technology to flip the script, turning what seemed like a weakness into a strange kind of strength. Phoenix didn't just grow because of sunshine and air conditioning, it grew because there was room to grow and lots of it. Unlike older cities built around rivers or squeezed between mountains, Phoenix sits on a massive, flat desert basin stretching out in every direction. This wide open space made it a dream for developers. It allowed for rapid suburban expansion with new neighborhoods popping up almost overnight. There were no steep hills to level or dense forests to clear, just open land ready for roads, shopping centers, and houses. And that's exactly what happened. In the post-World War II boom, Phoenix exploded outward, not upward. Low-rise homes with yards, swimming pools, and driveways became the norm. And here's the key. It was affordable. Compared to cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, or Seattle, where housing prices were climbing out of reach, Phoenix offered more space for less money. So families from California and other high-cost states began moving in. They were chasing the American dream with a backyard and AC. But Phoenix didn't want to be just another retirement town or suburbia in the desert, and it didn't stay that way. Over the past few decades, the city began to diversify its economy. Beyond retirees and service jobs, Phoenix started attracting high-tech industries including semiconductor manufacturing, software companies, aerospace firms, and even data centers. Major corporations saw their advantages: affordable real estate, lower taxes, and thanks to AC and infrastructure, a livable environment for workers. This shift brought in younger, skilled professionals. Universities and trade schools began feeding talent into the local economy, and a new identity started to take shape. Phoenix was no longer just a hot city, it was a hotbed of opportunity. The combination of space, affordability, and jobs created a powerful feedback loop. More people moved in, which meant more housing, more services, more businesses, and more growth. And this growth wasn't random. It was strategic, engineered, and built on a clear formula. Turn the desert into opportunity, and the people will come. Living in Phoenix isn't about ignoring the heat. It's about embracing it, adapting to it, and designing a life around it. In many ways, the culture of Phoenix has evolved in harmony with its environment. People here don't try to fight the desert. Instead, they have learned to work with it. You'll notice that outdoor life starts early. Morning jogs, hikes, and farmers markets all kick off around sunrise, long before the midday sun turns the pavement into a frying pan. And once the sun dips below the horizon, the city comes back to life. Evening concerts, outdoor dining, night markets, and even yoga in the park, all scheduled to beat the heat. Architecture, too, tells a story of adaptation. Homes are built with heat-reflecting materials, shaded patios, and smart landscaping. You'll see plenty of xeriscaping, desert-friendly gardens using rocks, cacti, and native plants instead of water-hungry lawns. And then there's the landscape itself. Phoenix sits in a visually stunning corner of the world. Red rock formations, endless open skies, and nearby mountain ranges provide a breathtaking backdrop to daily life. Places like Papago Park, South Mountain, and Camelback Mountain aren't just scenic, they're fully integrated into how locals experience nature, even if it's just for a sunrise hike or a twilight stroll. City planners have also stepped in to make outdoor life more comfortable. You'll find shaded walking paths, mist fans, cooling fountains, and green parks designed to offer relief during the hotter months. Neighborhoods are built with shade in mind, with covered playgrounds, splash pads, and plenty of public pools. What's unique about Phoenix is that the people here don't pretend the heat doesn't exist. They have built a lifestyle that respects it. Work and school schedules often shift to accommodate high temperatures. Summer vacations are planned with precision, and social life moves indoors when needed to malls, cinemas, gyms, and giant indoor arenas built to beat the sun. In Phoenix, the heat isn't an obstacle. It's simply part of the rhythm of life. And once you understand that rhythm, you realize something surprising. Life in the desert can actually be beautiful. For all its sunshine, innovation, and explosive growth, Phoenix isn't without its shadows. Living in a desert always comes with risks, and those risks are now becoming harder to ignore. First, there is the climate crisis. Phoenix is already the hottest major city in the US, but climate change is pushing it to new extremes. Each year, records are broken. Summer temperatures that once shocked residents are becoming normal. In 2023, Phoenix experienced a brutal 31 consecutive days with temperatures over 110 degrees Fahrenheit, the longest such streak in its history. And it's not just about daytime highs. Thanks to what's known as the urban heat island effect, nights aren't offering relief anymore. As more buildings, roads, and concrete replace natural landscapes, the city absorbs and traps heat. That means nighttime temperatures stay dangerously high, increasing health risks and electricity demand as AC units run around the clock. But perhaps Phoenix's most existential threat isn't the heat, it's water. The city's lifeline, the Colorado River, is drying up. Years of drought, overuse, and rising demand have pushed this once mighty river to its limits. Reservoirs like Lake Mead and Lake Powell have dropped to historic lows. States across the American West are now locked in negotiations and conflicts over who gets how much water. Phoenix, which relies heavily on water from the Colorado via the Central Arizona project, is in a precarious position. While the city has made impressive strides in water conservation, recycling, and efficient irrigation, the truth is no one can thrive in a desert without a secure water supply. And then there's the issue of growth itself. More people means more homes, more roads, and more demand for cooling and water, which only intensifies the heat island effect and strains existing infrastructure. But here's the other side of the story. Phoenix isn't asleep at the wheel. City planners, engineers, and sustainability experts are actively working to tackle these problems head-on. Phoenix has begun investing in cool roofing materials, urban tree canopies, reflective road surfaces, and green infrastructure to reduce citywide temperatures. There is a push to build smarter neighborhoods where buildings generate less heat and use water more efficiently. Innovations like desalination partnerships, recycled wastewater systems, and aquifer recharge projects are already in motion, and community awareness is rising, from water-saving appliances to heat relief centers for vulnerable populations. Phoenix isn't just trying to survive the future, it's trying to engineer it. Still, the road ahead won't be easy. The challenges of climate, water, and growth are complex and urgent. But if history tells us anything, it's that this city has always adapted, from the ancient canals of the Hohokam to modern skyscrapers cooled by tech. Whether Phoenix can continue to thrive under these pressures remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the battle against the desert is far from over. Phoenix isn't some accidental miracle in the desert. It's the result of deliberate innovation, centuries of adaptation, and bold urban planning. From the ancient Hohokam who carved life out of the desert with their hand-dug canals, to the engineers who harnessed the Colorado River and built a city around air conditioning, Phoenix has always been a place where human determination meets environmental challenges. It's not that the heat isn't real. In fact, it's more intense than ever. But what sets Phoenix apart is that its people don't run from it. They adapt, they innovate, they build lives around it. This city proves that with enough creativity, infrastructure, and technology, we can redefine what's livable. Phoenix isn't just surviving the desert, it's thriving in it. And while the future brings serious questions, from rising temperatures to shrinking water supplies, Phoenix remains a bold example of how far human ingenuity can stretch the limits of where we choose to live. But Phoenix isn't alone in facing extreme challenges. There is this island called Iceland, which is also a country. This country is heaven for its beauty and natural landscapes, but if we talk about its expenses, then it's out of reach. The video showing up on your screen explains why Iceland is so damn expensive. You can watch it right now, and thanks for watching, mate. Bye.